Islam, peace, and Hotep. There's a lot going on right now. There's a lot going on right now. And it is imperative that our people understand the perspective that the Moors are presenting to them. We have many issues that we have to deal with. None of the issues can be dealt with until we correct our stats. None of the issues can be dealt with until we correct our position as a people. Since 1913, Noble Drew Ali has been teaching our people that they are not Negro, black, and colored people. That they're not that. As much as it's been said, the message has been neglected by our people. So, you suffer. It's very simple. All you have to do is want to be free. You're already free. You just have to want it. But if you get caught up in the illusions of the world, freedom escapes you and you become a slave to others. We want to address today the teachings of Dr. Umar Johnson, who continually plays this game that our people are black people, that our boys are black, and they have stuff going on. They're being attacked by America because of their blackness, and they're black this and they're black that. We want to put some things on the record for people to consider so that we can stop playing these games, leading our people into burning buildings, leading our people to get slaughtered based on us trying to get some accolades or say that we did something for the community, build something, but keep the people stateless so that they can't inherit anything that they obtain anyways, which defeats the purpose of even building or anything or having anything if you can't inherit it or pass it down to your posterity. This nonsense has to stop, but it's only going to stop when people have knowledge. Until people have knowledge, the madness continues. In 2011, we're going to outline some guidelines, simple things to consider before you start listening to these so-called black leaders who are selling you out. That we've been telling people that they're selling you out, proclaim your nationality so you can stop being sold out by your own. Because Noble Drew Ali told the Moors, it's your own people that is going to put you back in slavery. Because European understands law of retribution. European understands karma. If they do it to you, but you create the circumstance as to why they do it, then it doesn't fall on them. It falls on you. And ever since 1913, when Noble Drew Ali said you're not Negro, black, colored, and after that, 1929, when he died, you keep calling yourself black, all on you, because you were told. And your leaders were supposed to tell you. And they didn't tell you. They kept you black. They capitalized N's and capitalized B's and say Negro and black are people. And those are frauds. So in 2011, there was a lecture at Black and Nobel bookstore with Professor Griff, Taj Tariq Bey, and Umar Johnson. Right? We just want to outline some things that were presented. So, again, you can't say that you weren't told, Dr. Umar, because once again, we're using the perfect example of a master teacher, Taj Tariq Bey. He went up first, was supposed to only speak for 5 minutes, ended up talking for half an hour just because. That's just how it goes when you let the master teacher take the mic. That's just how it goes. So some of the points that Brother Taj brought up, one was that there's two types of persons in law. Natural person and an artificial person. This is a fact. This is not opinion. Go look up natural person, then go look up artificial person or corporate person. And we're not going to pull the dictionary and show you or whatever like that. You go look it up for yourself so you can see that it's a reality. Artificial person, natural person. All you're going for is the definition. Forget about Europeans talking about it. Forget about what the commentary about it is. All you're looking up. There's two types of persons. There's natural person and there's corporate person. That's all you're looking up. Find what the definitions of those are and then move on from there. 2, status is synonymous with citizenship, which is synonymous with nationality. You're going to go to YouTube and you're going to look up a video by John Henrik Clarke, who is a recognized historian, world-renowned historian. And the little 10 minutes or whatever that he's talking for is called nationality. And in that video, you will hear why you are not Negro, black, and colored from your so-called black historian. Letting you know that you're not Negro, black, or colored, and why you're not that. And letting you know the importance of nationality. It's John Henrik Clarke now. All right? 3, another point that was brought up. Our people being deliberately misclassified. Now, we say that we're against slave master. We say that we're against the abuse. We say that we're against, the mistreatments that we received from European colonists. Ever since we came over here on the slave ship, the Europeans been blah, blah, blah with us. All right. The European is the one who labeled you black. How come you're not giving that up? Noble Ali taught the Moors that we have to teach our people the truth about their nationality and their birthrights. That they are not Negro, black, and colored people. Because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865. So the names that the deliberate misclassified labels of black, African American, Negro, etc. that we accept were given to us by the slave master, by the quote-unquote white man. If we're so against him, why are we still using those as the designations for our identity? I thought we hate the white man, but you're going to use the names that he coined in order to call yourself something? Right? The race argument versus status. There's only one race on the planet, the human race. And the human race is divided into nationalities, which subsection into tribes. All nations of the world have a nationality. All of them have a nationality. Only people that don't have a nationality and refuse to have one are the Negro, black, colored people of North America who choose not to have a nationality because they're listening to black leaders call them black all the time. When that term is a deliberate misclassification of identity. Now, a statement that Brother Taj made in the lecture at Black and Nobel. This information has nothing to do with how you feel or what you believe. If you are not aware of your status, any argument you make is neutralized. So all this stuff that Dr. Umar is talking about, psychology, major, doctorate, professional, he's convincing the people that we are under attack, which to a degree he's right. But why are we under attack? We are under attack because we don't have a status. Okay? So we're going to go to Rights of Indigenous People that you can get from rvbaypublications.com, and we're just going to read the preface and commentary by Grand Sheik Nature El Bey. A most devastating and ingenious way in which the occupational Union States sociologists have literally dumbed down the native people was by reconstructing history with the stroke of a pen. This act of reconstructing history served as the deed to the debasement of the reasoning minds of the 9 ethereal and natural freeholders of the land. Civilization was built upon the art of masonry, stone building, sacred geometry, the 7 liberal arts, navigation of the 7 seas, and above all, the science of astrology, from which all the sciences had their influence coming from the East. European psychology has been imposed and distributed to the masses of people for the intent of suppressing the natural freeholders' ancient high culture and to prolong the karma style descended back to the 144 inhabitants of what we call planet Earth. The subjective vehicles by which the European uses in the transformation of suppressing the natural freeholders became usurpable through removing the connection between the native, the native's identity, and the native's land. This trinity was astrologically well thought out, well mapped out, and allegorized through Masonic myths like the Hiram-Abiff allegory story, when Hiram was hit in the head by the 3 ruffians and buried in a shallow grave in the West. One must be adept in nature's universe to be able to navigate through the dark. Navigating is the protocol for all matters, having a divine purpose to exist, and to be the beacon light, to replenish life by the rays of the sun with the earth's elements in a course of 9 months. This process is known as nationalization. For a person not to know his or her roots, one would be inharmonious with nature, with nations, and with the law that governs the human family. What we are dispensing are universal principles that constituted de jure governments all across the planet, among the nations. All nations across the board are broken down into nationalities consisting of a national flag, a constitution, a national seal, and representation for that nation. The constitution of those nations protects the inalienable rights and birthrights of the natural people and secures a republic form of government. Each nation practices its own laws and customs and must worship under their own vine and fig tree. In order to be recognized as a national, you must claim your national descent, name, and religion, and through it, you will receive your national and international protections at law. For one to know the specific law that applies to self, one must first understand one's status. Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition. Status: the rights and duties, the capacities and incapacities which determine a person's relationship to a given social class. Through this journey of uplifting fallen humanity, keep in mind that rights are inalienable and are not transferable. Rights come only through divine inheritance by way of the Most High God, who is Mother. Class defined: a group of persons, things, qualities, or activities having common characteristics or attributes. So the importance of status, the fact that we need status, and it is so important, has to be addressed and brought to the forefront so people can consider themselves and recognize that you should have a nationality. If you don't have a nationality, if you don't have a status, then that classifies you as stateless. And once you are stateless, rights do not apply to you. So Umar Johnson claims that he's a direct descendant of Frederick Douglass. So we want to put something on the record with regard to Frederick Douglass. This is from eyewitnesstohistory.com. Freeman's Papers. Douglass began his life in bondage, working the fields of Maryland's Eastern Shore. At age 18, he was sent to Baltimore, where he learned to caulk ships. He worked with the local shipyards, earning a wage that was not given to him, but to his master. His first step to freedom was to borrow the identity papers of a freed slave. So even Frederick Douglass knew about status. Umar Johnson always talks about his connection to Frederick Douglass. That's his kin. That's his great-great-great-great-great-grand uncle or whatever, and his cousin and all that. Frederick Douglass had Freedman Papers. What's Freedman Papers? Freedman Papers are the papers or the identity papers of a freed slave. What is that? That's the exact same thing that Moors are telling these people that they have to do. Proclaim their nationality and document it in paper or card form. So when challenged, you can present your claim. You could present your status. You could present that you're not Negro, black, colored anymore. Because under assumption, and all these black leaders selling their people out, this European, who you call white man, is taking the position that everybody's black. And if you're black, what applies to you is codes. Christian Black Code, Treaty of Verona Code, Code Noir, Negro Acts, any other acts, statutes, and bylaws that this European creates to enslave you. Remember, Frederick Douglass, who is the great uncle and cousin of Umar Johnson, had Freedman Papers, which means he knew that he was aboriginal and indigenous to the land and was not a black man, was not a Negro slave, was not colored. Only people that teach you that you're aboriginal and indigenous are the black Indians and Moors. It was a custom in the state of Maryland to require the free colored people to have what were called free papers. These instruments, they were required to renew very often, and by charging a fee for this writing, considerable sums of time to time were collected by the state. In these papers, the name, age, color, height, and form of the free man were described, together with any scars or other marks upon his person which could assist in his identification. Freeman papers. So you just do your research on freeman papers, because we're not even going to beat the dead horse. We just want to put some stuff out there so people could take some things into consideration. Another point that Brother Taj brought up, because remember, all this stuff that we're bringing up, these are things that, except the freeman papers, but all the things that we're bringing up are things that Taj Tariq talked about in the same lecture with Umar Johnson. This is no different than the thing that we're going through right now with Saw Netter. And knowing that he sat down with Moors and he's still calling your people black, obviously you're an agent and you work for the other side. Because there's no way that you can find out about status, birthrights, nationality, and continue to play the game of your people are black and pushing that as a concept for them. When you've been told, when you sat with the master teacher. You must know contract law, trust law, distinction between fiat and money, and your estate. So you must know contract law, trust law, the distinction between fiat and money, and your estate. That has to be something that is on your dial plate as far as subject matter that you're going to study. We also spoke about the straw man origin in the 14th Amendment, about Negro, black, colored people being the first straw man. We spoke on the Christian codes, Treaty of Verona, African history, being Moorish history. So then, after that, Umar comes up now, right? And these are the points that he came with after Brother Taj, right? They were talking about a German pizza store downstairs that had no washroom in 20 years, which is against the city codes of Philadelphia, right? And they're saying that, you know, why are they letting them do that? You know, it's because they're in the black community and blah, blah, blah. When reality of the situation is that they have a German nationality. Being that they have a German nationality, they're doing things behind the scenes that average person coming in the door of the store has no idea about. And they're using their nationality to have a store with no washroom in there against the city code. Another thing they brought up, when has the food inspection go and shaken down a Chinese store for health hazards? Let you open up a joint and see what happens. Comes back to the same thing. What's your status? If you have no status, if you are not in your own right, if you are calling yourself Johnson, but you're claiming that you're from Africa or whatever like that, but you're saying that you're Johnson, clearly you don't know what you're talking about. Clearly you're incompetent. Clearly you are a slave, because only slaves would have master's name. Oh, he says he's Shabazz. Oh, no, he doesn't. He's Johnson. And Johnson is a slave name. Remember, Douglas is not a slave name. Douglas comes from the Dubs, D-U-B-H, the Dubless. The Dubs were Moors. That's why he could use freedman papers. Go, don't believe me? Go check it out. Dubs, D-U-B-H. Matter of fact, go get a book by world-renowned European historian David McRitchie, and he will tell you ancient and modern Brits, ancient and modern Britons. He will tell you same thing that we're telling you. European now. Okay? Dr. Umar outlined the rules of white supremacy, that they don't share power, they don't believe themselves to be equal, and there's no crime too inhumane to use to get rid of black people. When you say Europeans want to get rid of black people, what is really being said is solving the Negro problem. Because keep in mind, these Europeans know that we're Moors. We already told people that. So if you're going to continue to play this game that you're not Moors, you're something else, be prepared to fall victim to these European colonists. Because that's how you're going to be a victim. Why? Because they already know what your nationality is. You don't have to prove anything to them. But you have these black leaders lying to you, telling you that you're black people, that you're black this and black that, when them labeling you as black is keeping you in a dead status. It's keeping you in a brainwashed mind frame. It's keeping you spiritually locked out of anything spiritual, just because you're attaching to this fiction that isn't the reality. Right? So we're going to quote Umar Johnson. This is why we're doing this. We got to start holding our scholars accountable. They get away with millions of dollars, and we never hold them accountable. So we want to put that on the record, because that's an Umar Johnson quote. And it's very ironic that he's right now asking you to give him millions so he can buy a school. Saying that he's going to give you millions. Saying that he wants you to give him millions so that he can buy a school to help your situation. When he can take the $250,000 that he collected already, go to Philly, go to Detroit, where there's abandoned properties that they're selling, and start something up. But nah, just like these Moors who want to go claim mansions. They're not going to go claim the little spot over there that's been boarded up for the past 20 years. They're going to go claim some mansion and want to know how come stuff's not going through and why stuff doesn't work. Because you have your priorities out of order. Priorities straight out of order. But what is it that Dr. Umar knows? Another quote from him, right? Quote, all of the black leaders, except Noble Drew, because he was before Garvey, came up on Garveyism. So he knows who Noble Drew Ali is. He's not in the dark about Noble Drew Ali. And if he knows that much, if he knows as much to say that Noble Drew Ali is the only so-called black leader that didn't come up under Marcus Garvey because he was before Marcus Garvey, that means he had to have gotten some type of lessons. At least that you're not Negro, black, colored. And you're going to go against the Prophet Noble Drew Ali and call your people Negro, black, and colored still? That's treasonous and traitorous. Garvey was not a Moor, but him and Noble Drew Ali worked together and were allies. They did respect each other and worked together. So he's admitting what the Moor's been saying, that Garvey and Drew Ali worked together. When all these people out here are trying to deny that fact, they're going to back Umar Johnson, though. Well, we're telling you that Umar Johnson knows that Marcus Garvey and Noble Drew Ali were like this. They were allies, working together. And I know what he's going to say. Oh, well, he doesn't recognize Noble Drew Ali because Noble Drew Ali attached a religion to his movement, which Marcus Garvey said don't attach any religions to the movement in order to have everybody involved in it. Everybody was involved in the Moorish movement, and Islam is not a religion to the Moors. Islam is not a religion to the Moors. Islam is not a religion to the Moors. So he did this lecture, right? Actually, one more point. Dr. Umar went to visit Frederick Douglass's grave. That's on YouTube. And in that video, he talks about ancestors of Frederick Douglass not being slaves, that they were free people. Free people. You know what free people means? Free people means that they were aboriginal and indigenous to the Americas. They didn't come here on a slave ship as any slaves. That's in Frederick Douglass's family. You think that that would inspire Dr. Umar Johnson to get down with some nationality. But nah, that's not their protocol. Right? So we want to make sure that you know, one, claiming our people as black creates all these psychological issues that our people have, that you need Dr. Umar to come to help you save your children. And we're not taking nothing away. Psychology is very serious subject matter. We need psychologists, but we don't need psychologists that's going to call our people black and sell them out to the other side, because that's exactly what they're doing when these black leaders call our people black people. Black people is a fraud as an identity. That's the fact. You cannot remove the fact. Truth is what it is. You can't change truth. So all this psychological stuff that Dr. Umar is talking about that our people are victim to, the reason is because of us still echoing that ritual that the European put on us by calling us black people, which ties us to everything negative. If I give you black water, you won't drink it. If I give you a black fruit, you'll throw it away. If I see your fingers and your toes and your nose is black, that means you're suffering from the bubonic plague. Black, according to science, means death. So look at all the mummies. Those people were Asiatics, brown-skinned people. They wrapped them as a mummy. You uncover the mummy, now they look like a raisin. Black, because they're dead. Made a statement that Latinos, Cubans, aka brown people, are more racist than white people. And that Hispanic was created in 1970 by United States government, but so was black. So you're going to point the finger at your brothers and sisters who speak Spanish, aka Moorish Latin. You're talk negative about them, that they're more racist than European. How about it's because you call yourself black, which is why they're more racist than the European? Because they know that they're Moors. So-called Spanish-speaking people know anybody below Morocco, which people call United States on the map, anything below there is Spanish-speaking. And they know that they're Moors. That's why the culture of Mexico, they have the sombrero, which is a fez with a big brim on it. Just put a big brim on this. That's sombrero. Go further down. So like Cuba has a 5-point star on their coat of arms with the Liberty cap, which is one of these, but it's soft and it's floppy, looking like a toque, winter toque. That's why half these countries in South America, they use the 5-point star and call themselves republics, because they know that they're Moors. And they know that our people, dark-skinned people in North America, are out of order. So don't get mad at the European and say the European's racist. It's not racist. It's your status is void. So nobody respects you. Your status is void. So the Latino community does not respect you. I know people who speak Spanish and are from Latin countries, and they are honored to know the Moors, to talk to the Moors, to learn from the Moors. They can't even speak the language of English, but they get what Moors are saying when we introduce or speak to them and call them Moreno. They know exactly what we're talking about when we say Moreno, and when we classify or clarify that they're not negros and negras. They're morenos and morena. They know exactly what we're talking about. Morena, moreno, more. And these people are going to play games, lying on people that they hate them and they're racist toward them. You're the one that's causing yourself your problems, because you're classifying yourself as something that doesn't exist. It's artificial. Remember what we said in the beginning. Two types of persons at law. If you call yourself black, you're admitting that you are stateless and an artificial person. If you're an artificial person, that means you're a corpse or a corporation, not real, not living, breathing being. America is at war with the black man. America is a continent and could never be at war with the black man, because the black man is a fiction. Unconscious Moors are at war with themselves, and the U.S. corporation is implementing King Alfred plan against them because of their ignorance. This is what's going on. I don't care what you assume, think, believe what's going on. Moors are telling you what's going on. Europeans are implementing King Alfred plan under the guise of a corporate government called U.S. and Canada. If you classify yourself as black, you are basically telling them that you are stateless, that you are an artificial corpse, and they're going to do whatever they feel to do with you. What do they do with roadkill? You think they're taking roadkill to the veterinarian and hook up some tubes and give them mouth-to-mouth resuscitation? Roadkill is what you are if you call yourself black. You're claiming you're roadkill, and then you get mad when people treat you like roadkill. You are not Negro, black, and colored people. Get it through your thick skulls, your hard-headed, concrete brains. If you call yourself black people, you are classifying yourself below the beasts of the field. That's why dogs have more rights than people. People are going to scoop dog shit up in a bag with their hand. but call you nigger and shoot you in the street and choke you out in the street. People are going to buy coats and shoes or whatever for their dog and their cat and whatever. And treat dark-skinned people that classify themselves as Negro, black, colored, treat them like dirt. Treat them like trash. Put them in the garbage can. America is a continent. So anybody talking about America and then they got America with triple K on it and all that type of stuff, those people are incompetent idiots if they think a continent did something to them. And we put it out there again. You know that it's the European that's doing this to you. Why don't you call it for what it is? Why are you calling him white man? Call the nation. What nation is abusing you? Why do you think you never got reparations? Because you're not even identifying who's abusing you. You're talking about boogeyman in the closet is abusing you. Boogeyman's abusing you, really? Boogeyman's abusing you. Do you expect somebody to take that serious? You go open the closet for your child, show them nothing's in there, they're coming talking about something's in the closet, you really gonna take them serious? Corinthian colleges selling 85 schools. Detroit selling 79 abandoned schools. June 20th, go research how to buy a vacant school building. There's information that they have online. How to buy a vacant school building. But this guy's telling you pay some $250,000 million for him to buy some state-of-the-art school for him to teach your children something. Teach them that they're black. Really? Anybody calling you black is your enemy. El-Hajj, Malik El-Shabazz told you, only a fool would let the enemy teach his children. Only a fool. So you must be a fool if you're going to let Umar Johnson speak on your behalf and continue to call you black to all these people. Why do you think he never got the money yet? Why do you think people aren't just stepping up and throwing fiat at him to try to help him solve this black problem? Because status. And they know that that's going to fail. Just like all the other ones. Why? Because black is a hex. Black is a ritual. You call yourself black as an identity. That's a ritual. Remember, we're not against black. I have black shoes. I have black shirts. I have black pants. I have black bag. I have black fez. I have black hair. I'm not shaving my hair off because it's black. We're saying as an identity, if you call yourself black, you are casting yourself into the lowest class of humanity. Like we said, 85 schools, 79, whatever like that. So if he's going to make a statement, I'd rather my child in a dilapidated one-room school with one black teacher that cares other than a pretty school with non-African teachers that can't stand them. If he's going to make that statement, but he's not going to go claim one of these 85 schools or 79 schools or whatever like that, that these people are practically giving away, but he'd rather go give your hard-earned dollars to some St. Peter, whatever like that, which is obviously not some Asiatics. Because if some Asiatics name their school St. Peter, obviously they're working with the other side. Oh, but you know, you take their change the name and call it the African, whatever like that. It still has the energy of the European there, and it's still going to fail. $250,000 raised for my school. This is how he's talking. Dr. Umar trying to build a state-of-the-art school for black boys that you know I need. Did you make a donation to my school? I better get some more and some more and some more money for my school. I thought it's for the people. Why are you emphasizing yours all the time? Why are you emphasizing mine? Because he's another one of those agents whose job it is to keep you deaf, blind, and dumb as long as possible. The longer you're deaf, blind, and dumb, the more money he can get off of you to build this state-of-the-art school that you're going to have your plaque on the wall and whatever like that. There's Moors who we know that their children go to European school and they're graduating with honors. And they don't have no ADHD. They're not being labeled by anything. Why? Because they have a status going in to the school. There's Moors that we know right now whose children are on honor roll. Honor roll in the European school. That these people are saying that Europeans are against black people. The white man is, and they're groveling like some punks instead of just nationalizing. Drawley said, get a good education, European education, and I can use you. What some of these parents out here who are Moors doing, they're sending their children to the European school with their free national name, and those children are graduating with honors out of there because they know that they're not Negro, black, and colored. And because they're not Negro, black, and colored, they don't need to get vaccinated. They don't need to get after-school help, crap like that. They don't need to go there, play no ball and no football and you get classified ADHD and all this type of stuff, because if they have a nationality, obviously they know something. Obviously they have been taught something. So them going to school is just easy pickings. Honor roll. Moors children going to European schools, leaving that school on the honor roll. Every year, honor roll. So we know that people's attention span is like this. So we're going to keep it short. Anybody calling you black, anybody classifying you with these misrepresented labels are selling you out to the other side. Proclaim your nationality. If you don't want to proclaim your nationality, you're scared, study nationality. Study the history of the Moors. Study contract law. Understand what it is that you're getting yourself involved with before you say, I'm a Moor. Because regardless of what, you're a Moor. For the record, you don't need to proclaim you're a Moor. A Moor means any dark-skinned person, especially an African Negro. All y'all people are going to say that you're either African, or you're either Negro, or you're dark-skinned, or okay, so you're a Moor. So if you're a Moor, then, well, nothing to prove. Start with studying the history of the Moors so you can see what you've been missing out on. And as soon as you hear these people classify you as black, correct them immediately, whether they're on the stage, whether you paid for them to be on the stage. As soon as they classify you as black and you let that slide, you just sanction Treaty of Verona, you just sanctioned the Christian Black Codes, you just sanctioned the Negro Acts, you just sanctioned all these paper bulls that they've instituted to steal your land. We want our people to think so they can save themselves. If you're not willing to think, hey, stay black, do your thing, doesn't matter. Guarantee you're going to get choked out. Your son's going to get shot in the back by one of these highwaymen or something like that, and then you'll learn. If you don't want to go through the karmic debt that is about, the tidal wave of karmic debt that's about to wash our people, we do suggest that you take nationality and birthright serious and stop listening to these black leaders, especially if they're calling you black. especially if they're asking you for finance. Because another thing that Umar brought up in his class with Taj Tariq Bey is that we spend the most money on nothing. And he's trying to convince you, instead of taking that fiat and coming together with people in your community and build your own school, he wants you to give him the fiat so he can be the new savior of the black community. Black people ain't going to be saved. I'm going to let you know right now. The only way black people are going to be saved is if they proclaim their nationality and stop being black. That's the only way they're going to be saved. And we're only bringing up Umar Johnson because we had him come out here. I put money in the pot for him to come out here because, psychology, trying to help the people, get them out of their mind state or whatever like that. And then you watch the lecture and all he's talking about is black stuff. And black people this, black boys that. And then he's going to come here with all his books and stack his books up on the table, sell everything, and not support any community vendors. Didn't put any finance that he made off the community here. He didn't support one local vendor. He took all that fiat back to wherever he came from. Help bring Polite here. We're vending at the Polite event. It was supposed to be a double event with him and Dr. Umar. Dr. Umar, he ain't coming because he don't want to share the stage with Polite. But your ticket's bought already. Well, I ain't coming. Yeah, but we already paid for your ticket. Like, what do you mean you're not coming? And that has nothing to do with anything really, because the individuals who were bringing him here the second time, who brought Polite here, those individuals were, grant getters or whatever like that. They got grant money, misappropriated all these funds, millions of dollars, and now their stuff is shut down and they're underrun. These are the type of people that are in your communities telling you, like we said. He said it himself. He said it himself. We got to start holding our scholars accountable. They are getting away with millions. We have to start holding our scholars accountable. They are getting away with millions. Your millions. That you can take and build your own stuff as a more. But you need somebody to do something for you and help you do this and help you do that. When it doesn't have to be like that. Either correct or get rolled over. This is where it's at now. Either your own's going to roll you over or the European's going to roll you over if you don't nationalize and proclaim your nationality and show some allegiance to your great seal government that is sitting in this land abandoned because you don't want to do anything for self. You want somebody to do something for you all the time. Those days are over. Either you're doing for self or you will continue to suffer. Peace, love, and Hotep.